All right, everybody. With us this week, we're joined by RJ Vukovich, the founder of VukGripz. VukGripz provides grip solutions in all weather and playing conditions for sports that have bats, rackets, clubs, sticks, or handles. So pretty much almost everything. But RJ joins the podcast. We appreciate him coming on. And first and foremost, how's everything going, RJ?
Yeah, man. No, listen, appreciate you guys very much. Stoked, had a couple good days here in Ohio, so we're pumped, man. A lot of PLL, a lot of MLB stuff going on, so we're stoked, man.
Stoked is good. So we're going to hit you with the hard-hitting questions first. We'll start with the baseball side, but we'll even go a little bit earlier and talk about yourself. So who is RJ Vukovich?
Oh, man, it's a big, broad question right there. But basically, man, born and raised North Canton, Ohio, 10 minutes away from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Been a sports guy my whole life. Started playing baseball when I was like 2 or 3. Grew up, went to 3 different colleges, ended up getting to play some pro ball, and turned into have my own company, man. It's been a pretty crazy ride. Married, got 2 kids now, and it's not slowing down, bro. That's kind of where we're at.
I love it. We're cards on the table. We're baseball guys. We love the sport. Are we gonna get exiled if we say we're Yankee fans? Like, were you a Cincinnati Reds guy? I think you're probably harmless, right?
Yeah, right. Hey, yeah, we'll keep it low key, but yes.
Well, you Reds or Guardians?
So we still call them the Tribe. I don't know if I can call them the Guardians yet, but yeah, man, they're about 40 minutes away from us. A big Omar Vizquel guy back in the day, Kenny Lofton. That era was awesome to watch. But yeah, Tribe. Tribe and Reds, can't beat it.
I mean, one thing about Cleveland, for some reason, year after year, you guys produce pitchers like crazy. I don't understand it. There's always
we just give them away. We just give them to the good guys, and they're like, oh, now what?
So that means so is Shane Bieber out?
Hey, man, no comments. I don't know. Our farm system's dope. I mean, I know Cleveland does a great job at that, and they get a lot of young guys that are always energetic. I mean, Josh Naylor, that dude's a stud. I mean, he uses some of our stuff, and he's just such a nice guy, but he is so enthusiastic. And I know Cleveland looks for those type of athletes, even with the Browns. I mean, people who can really energize the city. Josh Naylor's that guy, for sure.
So we have to I'm sorry, we have to end the interview now because you're telling us how good Josh Naylor is. He made the Rock and the Baby thing famous. Come on, you can't tell a bunch of Yankee fans that.
Hey man, listen, Jay Nay all the way, baby, supporting the cause.
Hey, we have the one up on you because Will and I were at Game 5 in the Bronx, so we'll have the last laugh for now. I can't guarantee what that'll be like this year because who knows how baseball is going to shape up, but. We'll take the one up on you now, but I guess you're the one up because Josh Naylor uses your stuff. So.
Dude, hey, listen, we had a heartbreak back against the Cubs. We went to Game 6 and 7, and we were just devastated. It was such a fun experience, but dude, we were so close.
Brutal. So you had a lot of successes at all different parts of baseball, like you mentioned. But when did you first fall in love with the game?
Oh, man, my dad, I think he literally didn't drive my mom home from the hospital. He went to go play baseball. He was in the All-Star game. So, I was born into it, man. So, ever since I could probably pick up a little wiffle ball bat and play in the backyard, it's been grinding that way. My dad's still playing. He's 62, so still plays on Sundays. And, we kind of have it in our blood. Family's big. I mean, we have a cool story when it relates to Croatia when we get there as far as baseball and our family. But, yeah, man, kind of born into it and it's kind of taken off since then.
So, your baseball journey goes along. You end up at Walsh University and, doing some research. Walsh is home to Tim Mead, who's just done his 41st season there. So he's one of the longest tenured coaches in any division in the NCAA right now as far as baseball goes. But again, small school in North Canton, Ohio. So, I mean, what made you – was that just a product of it's a school, I want to play baseball, or was there something that stuck out to you about Walsh?
Yeah, so Walsh ended up actually being my third school. So I went to 2 schools in West Virginia, West Liberty. My dad played there, and then Fairmont State. Went for a different opportunity here at Walsh. Got to live at home. All my family could come see me play, which was great. It was great, man. We were NAIA at the time. Ended up going D2, I think, my senior year. So it was fun to compete. And it was a GLIAC then against Grand Valley State. Those dudes are just so big and so huge against other schools like that. But yeah, it was fun, man. I mean, it turned out to be a great experience and a great move for us and for me.
So, and on that Tim Mead point as well, obviously it's year 41 that he just got through. I mean, what'd you learn from a guy like that? You're a baseball family. You've been embedded with the sport for a long time. there must have been some really good lessons you picked up from him. So what was it like playing for a guy that just, he sort of just lives and breathes the spirit of the school that you were going to?
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, I was raised old school. We have an old school mentality. It's how I work with my daughter and my son now, or I'm just an old school person. So he kind of brought that to the team. I mean, we always focus on the academics. That was a big part. You got to get good grades, and our team always excelled, maybe top, at least in the conference and in grades. And, being able to work with that old school mentality, having the older guys around. I mean, even our hitting coach was Dale Herbert. That dude was just so knowledgeable, and so was Coach Meade. And it's just, it just gets you to a different level, being able to talk baseball. I mean, those are baseball guys. Sometimes you're in baseball, you don't get to talk to baseball guys. They're just athletes. So I don't know if that makes any type of sense, but being a baseball guy, getting to learn the little insider tips that no one else knows from playing the game for that long is super helpful. And a lot of excel. I know we had a couple good stretches, and they did really good, I think, the past couple of years. I mean, almost, I think, winning the conference. So kudos to them.
And was there a guy, a player, coach, anybody that either provided you advice besides Tim Meade, or any players in the league that you looked up to emulate your game?
Oh, man, I had a lot of good buddies at Walsh. I mean, I got to play with a lot of cool dudes around the country, just going from summer ball and different leagues there. I mean, one dude sticks out. I got to actually play against Matt Adams, MLB Matt Adams.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it was pretty sweet. I was at West Lib. He was at Slippery Rock. He hit 4 home runs that day. And it was just cool to meet that guy. And we actually got to circle back with him because he used some of our stuff during the year a couple years ago. And hey, man, not sure if you remember me. You hit 4 home runs this day. He's like, I remember that day. I'm like, I walked. I stood next to you. So, it was more about those kind of relationships coming back to him. Be like, hey, I played against you. And because baseball is just such a small community once you really think about it. But yeah, I mean, I looked up a lot of dudes. I mean, a lot of good players at that level, and just kind of have fun as best we could.
And a guy like Matt Adams, I mean, big lefty who I just looked him up because I hadn't heard that name in so long. He had that big stretch with the Cardinals where, he was just hitting, it felt like clutch home run after home run. But when you were playing against him when he was at Slippery Rock, was that a guy you looked at and said, hey, that guy is going to be a stud? Or was that a situation where he was just another normal guy and he, just kept working at it and ended up in the big leagues as a matter of coincidence?
Yeah, I think all being baseball guys, I mean, we can kind of see when someone's got that dude can swing it. I mean, that dude just naturally just kind of flows, and he had the size, but his bat speed, I mean, it was just effortless, and he was smooth. And you're like, why is this dude playing for Slippery Rock? This dude should be either somewhere else. But he worked his butt off. I know he did. He had a great major league career. I think he's still playing. And it's just things you can notice about dudes at that level. They're like, that dude's got the extra that you can't coach that. You can work as hard as you want, but that dude just got the little bit extra. So and it's just fun because it's that dude's on TV right now. I got to play against that guy.
So then your baseball career took you overseas. So you played pro ball in Croatia. I'm not going to butcher the team name. What do you say?
So it was BK Olympia.
Oh, it's just
that was easy.
Yep, pretty easy.
So the Croatians just like to throw a bunch of different letters in there instead of just keeping it.
Yeah,
and that's fine. Yeah. You played for the national team in 2014 for the Euro Championship. So first off, what's the Croatian tie family-wise to get you over there? And then also just explain, why you made that decision to go play, in Croatia and how you got involved.
Yeah. No, I was having a great senior year. Middle of the year kind of cooled off a little bit. I thought I had a shot, didn't get a shot, and they had come over. The national team coach, one of the best pitchers ever, in Europe. You'd look him up, Jimmy Summers, crazy, literally lives in Akron. It's one of my dad's great friends. So he's like, hey, these guys are coming over. They need a shortstop. They want to see you play. You should just go over. You're not getting signed. I'm like, cool. So, the story I brought up before was my grandpa actually helped jumpstart baseball in Croatia 40 years ago. So brought equipment over, got the guys familiar with all the different stuff, tried to help kind of get it going over there, helping with the baseball fields. And so our name has kind of been a big part of at least, Karlovac, BK Olympia for, tens of years. And hey, listen, you got to come over, got great family ties, went over, did really well for the club team. We got to go to Czech Baseball Week, which was over in Prague. I did well for my national team tryout. And then from there, I spent 4 summers over there, played 2 years in the States professionally, but it was a blast traveling Europe. We were in the Olympic qualifier in 2019 in Germany. It was on TV. Team Israel came out of that and cool little story. Ryan Lavarnway is a catcher for Team Israel. He played with the Indians, Marlins, like just retired this year he was on the Red Sox World Series team back in the used my stuff. I'm like, I'm playing against guys using my stuff at this level who are now in the Olympics. I'm just like, I mean, dude, it was such a cool experience. I mean, you don't really think about European baseball, but like it doesn't get enough props, that's for sure.
Who was the best guy that you played against at that level? Was it a guy like Lavarnway, or was there somebody else that, in that league went on to have a good career as well?
Yeah, I mean, we played against like Roger, so Team Netherlands they're crazy, man. We played against Jonathan Schoop. I think he's with the Baltimore Orioles now. So he was on the Netherlands. Like my first year, I think he was there too. Played against Roger Bernardina, who had a monster career in the big leagues. I mean, just guys like that come over. I mean, there was a guy, Alex Liddy, that used to play for the Braves. I mean, I played against Team Italy. I hit a home run that game, and he was on that team. I'm like, so, I mean, there's some big names that you just don't think about until after the fact. I know, he's like the 2-hitter, I think, for the Braves, Max something. He's from Germany. Big dude, big righty. But yeah, playing against those guys. So a lot of fun names. And again, more guys are coming over, more guys, especially from Japan, China, all those guys are making it into the bigs now. It's fun to see the game grow that way too.
So that's baseball. I want to talk, we'll transition to the business side of things now. And VukGripz comes along, right? Where does that story even begin? I know in a couple of areas you mentioned, ran out of pine tar, ran out of things to grip my bat. But where did that story really begin for you?
Yeah, so Vukovich is really it's my last name. When I was in Croatia, they're like, "Hey, do you know what your name means?" I'm like, "No, I don't." Well, so Vuk means wolf. I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty sweet." So, if you do some research, wolf has one of the strongest bites in the animal kingdom, aka grip when it bites down. So that's kind of how the whole VukGripz came about, and I needed to trademark something that could be trademarked. So we came up with that name a little bit, but it kind of became all relatable. And you kind of hit it on the head. I ran out of pine tar. I actually ran out of athletic tape. I was going overseas the next morning at like 6 a.m. out of Cleveland. My dad ran out of tape. We were literally in my basement messing around with some stuff. Next thing you know, I'm using it. Guys over there using it. Came back to the States, started passing it out. Then now we're official backer of Team USA Baseball. So several years later. So it's been kind of one of those rides where like it literally started in the basement by accident because I ran out of something. And now we're at the point where we're in Dick's Sporting Goods, Shields, working on academy sports. I mean, it's really been a crazy ride. I mean, especially the baseball part of it. And VukGripz, I mean, just never thought I'd be here doing that. I'm so blessed with that.
And the story, I mean, it's so poetic even further. I mean, you mentioned obviously the family name, but your sister gave you a loan to start the business. And then what did you pay her back in like within a year? And then VukGripz completely took off.
Yeah, dude, like she gave me $6,000. I needed to buy some batting gloves. So I'm like, listen, I haven't worked yet. I played pro baseball. I made $52 a week. Can you help me out? So she gave me $6,000, got our first set of BGs and a big grip order made. And, from then on, I mean, I think about a year and a half, I paid her back, and we've been pretty much self-funded, homegrown, man. I mean, I'm the 100% owner, and it's been crazy. We've had a huge support system. I mean, I know the players and coaches, everyone in Croatia has supported us, but my mom, my dad, my wife, my sister, I mean, I'm on the road a lot, and they've helped me financially just to kind of get over that hump. And yeah, dude, I mean, that's kind of where it all started. I mean, it's been family owned, family grown. It's all American made grips, which are sweet. We're the only one in the world that does that. So it's just kind of try to get the whole emphasis on, family operated and homegrown.
And what's been the initial strategy of getting that product out there? Like, how have you become this household name before we get into all of the partnerships?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. The big thing for us is people have to touch it. Like, it's so different. All the grips out there, they're made overseas. We know athletic tape is kind of clothy. Other grips are leathery, rubbery. The big thing for us is people have to touch it. So we would travel all the time, different events, just have people touch it, feel it, word of mouth, organically. And then once we started getting a little bit social media, we started doing some pretty fun, crazy tests to show people why it's so strong and why pine tar can't do this or other grips can't perform like this by jumping in a pool, putting motor oil on it. I mean, doing some funny things that you would never do in a game, but it just shows the dominance of our technology. So, and how it can relate to a hitter. Cause I mean, grip is everything. You can lift 500 pounds, but if your hand shifts a little bit, you lost all the bat speed. So I always had sweaty batting gloves. I was always searching for pine tar and dirt. And I'm like, eventually that's going to weigh down my bat. It's going to add some weight to it. And it's not going to keep working, especially when it's cold out. So very fortunate to have VukGripz and the technology now. And we're just, yeah, it's been a crazy ride, man. From people sending us videos of them using it, reviews. It's just been like a huge blessing for all of our supporters, and we can't thank them enough. Truly.
So, you have this idea, you get it out there, you're talking to customers and, doing all this tests and stuff like that. So how do you take us through like more of the tactical perspective? Like, how did you knew what worked, or you really didn't know what worked. You knew pine tar worked at square one, right? And then, you screw around and start making these grips, and, you realize, okay, this is a better way to grip my bat. It's a better way to grip, whatever other club I'm holding. But, to call yourself the number one performing and slip resistant sports grip in the world, I mean, that's a very, it's an accolade that you can't take lightly, right? So like, what was that strategy from, the very basic product that you started with to perfecting it over time? I mean, you mentioned you were out talking with customers, getting feedback and stuff, but how did you go and perfect that technology as time went on?
Yeah, I think one of the things that solidified it, and I can still remember to this day, we were literally at a Mexican restaurant right down the road. I got an email. The ABCA is one of the largest baseball shows in the world. So got an email saying, hey, listen, congratulations, you won Best of Show. This was probably like my first year ever in business. So we've been testing for 5 or 6 years. They're like, hey, listen, you won Best of Show. I'm like, oh, this is huge. I mean, it's literally, giving credit to everything I've been saying. Like, it doesn't slip, it does this, it does this. So to have that award, it's been huge. But like, when we go to events and people are like, hey, listen, I hate batting gloves. I hate it, but it's rainy today. I have to wear them. I'm like, try the grip. And then they come back and like, my hands were soaking wet. I didn't even slip once. I'm like, that's huge. And they're like, yeah, because I was using this grip and all this tape. And I'm like, yeah. So just that initial feedback, Kate coming back. And then we had more reviews. And then we got our first big league hitter, Stephen Piscotty, gave us great props. And that was probably 5 years ago already. He's like, listen, man, this stuff it's nuts. I don't need pine tar anymore. From there, we ended up getting guys like Josh Donaldson swinging and hitting home runs on TV. I'm like, this is nuts. But I mean, we don't want to self-proclaim it, but the thing is we keep proving it, right? Like we can jump into a pool and it can be soaking wet, right? If anything else gets wet, your hands get slippery, you need something, gotta dry them off. With us, it doesn't matter. And, we got to work with Perfect Game, which was awesome a couple years ago. They did some analysis. The exit velos from the guys using our stuff to guys that weren't using our stuff were actually higher, which is nuts. Now, There's a lot of hard work going into that, but if we can help a person 0.01% just relax a little more and get more bat whip, I mean, that's the whole technology. That's the whole point in grip, and you don't need to over grip to do it. So we have a whole science. I could talk all day on that. I hope I answered the question. But that's kind of how we all did it. I mean, it's just, we had to prove it, and we continue to prove it with the videos and these crazy tests. And that's kind of our goal.
And how long did it take for you to get a product that you were happy about? So from brainstorming in the basement, just like putting together stuff with, paper mache and glue to now, obviously what VukGripz is today. When was that like aha moment of like, okay, this is the perfect grip. This is ready to go to market?
Yeah, you should see some of the prototypes, dude. It was the batting gloves were brutal. I will admit they were not the sexiest gloves I've ever seen. So from the gloves to the grips, I mean, it was probably, again, the ABCA was really our first major show we ever did back in 2017. It was in Anaheim. We were stuck in the back. We were grinding it out. I mean, that was the first time we really kind of got some recognition or street cred for, hey, this stuff is actually working. And then, again, we got Stephen Piscotty the next year, and then we had more big leaguers. I'm like, this is what we set out to do. You got the top, most elite athletes in the world using it and giving you positive feedback. I'm like, cool. Now we're at a spot. Now, how do we add swag to it? Because I know the kids are going to want it. So we got the black and white colors figured out. And then now we're at the part that we can add some swag. We do have a full customizable grip now that we're doing for, working with partnerships. We did a huge Cash App collab, which is awesome. I mean, Vineyard Vines putting their logos on it. So, that's where we got to. But I think the ABCA really kind of was like, hey, listen, man, like this might actually work. Let's go do it.
Off that too, was there a particular person or athlete that, you mentioned a few that were high profile, right? Like Stephen Piscotty's a guy that, played a couple good years in the MLB. Josh Donaldson's still around, but is there a guy that had maybe a personal connection for you that was like, all right, they're using this product, that's how I know that we're on the right track here?
Yeah. I don't think he knows it. But I owe a lot to Eric Sogard. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sogard, but Mr. Nerd Power. Yeah. He was literally the first guy we've ever signed to a pro contract. I mean, he was, I didn't know who he was when he came up to me when he was with the Blue Jays. He needed some batting gloves. I found out a couple weeks later, he was on TV. Some guy sent me a screenshot. I'm like, oh, he's using our stuff. But I saw he actually ordered it on his own and didn't even ask me for free stuff. He paid full price for like 6 pairs of gloves. So I got connected. And since then, we've become pretty good buddies. Trusted me. I mean, he was getting later on into his career. And after that, I mean, dude, he signed a monster deal after the first year working with us. And we kind of became really good buddies. And I got to support his game. I drive up to Toronto to make sure these gloves got delivered on time, to make sure he had them and had what he needed. So, he had a good face, and a lot of people understood who Eric Sogard was. He's a good guy in the clubhouse, and he just really gave me, he's like, listen, man, this stuff is really good. Like, I'm not lying to you. He was super down to earth. Like, I love it. I mean, this is literally helping me in the box. I'm like, dude, I can't ask for anything more than that. You're being as honest as you can be, and you're an elite level athlete. So thank you. So I owe so much to Eric. And hopefully, if he ever gets to see this, thank you, Eric. It means a lot, brother.
And how hard is it to get your product in front of players, or is it now becoming more word of mouth, social media, just more exposure? But is it difficult to get your product in front of players?
So we've been very fortunate. I did do my share of sneaking into MLB clubhouses back in the day. That was before I knew what to do, but we got connected with the equipment manager show at the MLB trade show. And we've been fortunate to make great relationships with all the teams now. Before COVID happened, we got to 28 of the 32 teams, which is awesome. So I got to be in front of the MLB guys, maybe get some contact info, get their agents info, and just get them to touch it. Because like I said, they have to feel it. Like, it's so different than any other grip that they got to feel, and then they got to like it. So that's how we started. I think now we have a good digital presence. I think more and more people have access to our stuff. I think one of the funniest stories, this will be super short, was Josh Donaldson, my second year spring training, got to wrap his bat. He's like, hey, listen, man, just go ahead and wrap it. I'll use it today. I'm like, yeah, okay, bro, sure you will. But came back, picked it up. He's like, oh, it feels good. Josh Donaldson's up to bat, got a base hit. And he's like, oh, he's using my grip. What? This is nuts. So he bat 400 the spring training. Next year, he stopped using it. I think he got hurt that year or something and then didn't use it again. But next year I saw him hey, JD, you used the grip. What'd you think? He goes, oh, I forgot where to get it. I'm like, oh, man, sorry about that. But, hey, you know me now. So the big thing for us is we got to get the name out there. People got to start recognizing our wolf, getting the VukGripz out there, and that's our goal. I mean, it's been great. The Perfect Game partnership has been huge. Getting to work with Team USA has allowed us to work with Max Clark and athletes like that. I mean, that dude's legit. So it's just been it's all finally coming together to where people are starting to trust the brand, trust the product, and not having to just take it on a whim, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and results speak for themselves, right? So when you talk about this growth and the partnerships piece and just the also probably the growing pains in there too. But VukGripz now the official back grip of Team USA and USA Baseball, the official grip tape of the PLL, and also I think the first and only grip tape that's been officially sanctioned by the PLL. You mentioned it before, but Dick's Sporting Goods, Shields, Played Again Sports. You're partnered up with DBAT, which is, for those that don't know, one of the top baseball and softball academies in the world. Let's be real, right? You're one guy. You've got a team behind you, but you're not one of the. You're someone that a lot of people in the industry would look at and say, "Oh, it's a small business, right? It's not the big guy, right?" So, what is it different about trying to get into these big brands and these retailers that are so common to the average household when you don't maybe have the same resources as a huge retailer does?
Yeah, man. I mean, we all know who the juggernaut is. I mean, my main competitor is Lizard Skins, and kudos to those guys. Those guys have paved the road for accessories like the grip tape. I mean, I talked to Brad over at Lizard Skins whenever I see him at trade shows. I always congratulate him because they did a great job. And, they literally start from the bottom. They've been around for, I think it's 25 years now, something like that. And I've been around for 8-ish, but we're still really, really new. So, there's a big trust factor. I think, I focus so much on the in-person stuff that I feel like people, they have to trust me, right? We're going up against something that they know works. It has a lot of colors and it's been around forever. MLB guys using it, official grip of the MLB. And I'm like, hey, listen, guys, you guys got to give me a shot, right? Just because it's new, I know it's scary, but it doesn't mean it won't work maybe even better. So, we've taken the approach of, hey, just give it a shot. It's different. Maybe it'll work for your game and maybe you just don't like it. But with the retailers, it took me 5 years to even get a phone call with Dick's Sporting Goods. I mean, I've been grinding it out. I'm like, you guys, at least just let me send you some samples, because once you feel it next to everything else, it's just way different. And it's finally a new product because literally now everyone has a grip like Lizard Skins. I mean, it's all made in China, and they all kind of just Everyone has their own thing. So we're the only grip literally in the world that's physically different. So now there's another option, just like tape, more performance. And again, not everyone likes grip, so maybe this isn't a good alternative for the people who don't. So we try to sell it on it's another option, and it's all American made. I mean, I'm a big USA guy, again, kind of old school. I still think that means a lot in today's age. So we're really pushing the American made and hoping people click with that too.
100%. Yeah. I mean, not a lot of products are made in the countries in the States. So it's like, that's definitely an important tagline to keep and promote. So as a business owner, what has been the biggest struggles you faced, and how do you think it's contributed to your success in the long term?
Yeah, man. I'm not a control freak, but it's hard to let go, right? Everyone says, it's your baby, it's your baby. I mean, that's a real deal. I mean, like, you started this thing from nothing. My mom quit her job to literally help me. That's how fast we were growing. Since then, we've been able to hire 5 employees. But, being able to bring people on who I can trust to do something, and, it doesn't need to be 100% the same way RJ does, but they can get to 80, 85% and still do it really good. It's been hard for me to do that. And, but if I didn't do that, we wouldn't be anywhere we would be today. I mean, we have a great marketing team. I have a great friends out of New York who help me kind of do business consulting. They have helped me grow so much as a business owner that I wouldn't be here without anyone who hasn't contributed to me. I mean, right now we got 3 people going out to Omaha: my dad, my head of sales, Jake, and my wife's cousin, Gianna. They're going to go sell in Omaha for me while I'm here going to Columbus for the PLL. So the hardest part was just, being able to let go of some of the stuff, and, people can help. And then, asking for help it's really hard. You don't want to feel stupid because you think it's a stupid question, but I've been thankful to ask for help, and people have been thankful to give their time or money or support and not ask for anything in return, which, it's been a very big blessing. And now we've been able to pay the favors back. And, it was a big hurdle for me. And I don't know if that makes any other sense to anyone else listening, but it was a big thing for me. So I'm glad to be able to support everyone now, not just make it a free, ask stuff for free.
All right. Yeah. So it's awesome stuff. I mean, so when we talked about athletes already, and also too the partnership with the PLL. I want to bring that up. Official grip tape is something that I think a lot of people sort of, I don't know, the casual PLL fans were probably like, oh, why does the grip tape matter, right? We've established why that matters now, right? But from your perspective, I mean, there are segments in these games now where they're interviewing kids and giving them grip tape, right? So I mean, for you, I mean, we've talked about how much this means to you, but to see the fruits show up like that, where these major brands are physically giving away your product because they're doing an activation. I mean, what does that mean to you?
I mean, dude, it kind of makes you feel like it's all the hard work is kind of worth something, man. I'm talking people say they slept in their car. As cliche as it is, I've done it, man. Not having a hotel that night because I'm can't afford the $200. I can't afford the $100. I mean, that's what we've had to do. And to be able to, Cash App literally wanted to market with us and pay us money to do the collab. I'm like, dude, that's huge. I can't believe that we're at that point. And the PLL is, giving away stuff and giving away to athletes who are going to actually benefit from our grip. I mean, it's been very thankful. I mean, again, my support system, without my mom, my dad, my wife, sister, everyone who supported me, everyone that I can't even name. I mean, we wouldn't be here without them. So, I mean, it's just, hopefully it's fun for them to see where we've got to and that it's actually working. Hey, listen, you're actually doing it. You said you're going to do it, and now here we are. So, it's really hits home, to be honest. And
how did the PLL partnership come to play?
Yeah, man. We had a lot of buddies play lax in college. They always use tape. So I sent some to some guys after a couple of years, and they're like, hey, listen, this stuff's pretty cool. I'm like, awesome. And we were, getting really big in baseball and softball. That was our main market. I'm like, we got to hit something else up so we can keep expanding. And our tape is so versatile because it's not thick, it's not sticky. And we had really good success at local events around us for lacrosse. So talking to my business consultant, like, hey, bro, I'm just going to call these guys up and see if they have any tape partners. And I'm not sure if you guys know Jake Krantz with the PLL, but I actually got directed to him, and we had a phone call. I'm like, hey, man, I got some pretty crazy tape. It's been great. We've had great success. I'd love to send you some samples. I'm not sure if you know Lars. He was one of the equipment managers, and Kevin was the other equipment manager. I know they actually tested the samples, and they had positive feedback. And Jake's like, hey, man, how about we do something? I'm like, awesome, cool. Don't know what to expect. Pro League, I'm surprised they even gave me a shot. And now we're in year 2, and it's one of the craziest, most scariest, most fun decisions I've ever made and adventures I've ever been on. And, the whole PLL, I think everyone from, getting to meet and have dinner with Paul and Mike and the whole staff, I mean, everyone they're in it to grow the game of lacrosse, which is not the same as other sports. I mean, people in lacrosse, they love lacrosse. They love the players. They love the coaches. They love the game and the spirit. And you can't find that anywhere else. I mean, it's just so fun. And to be a part of this wild ride the PLL is on, their crazy growth has been awesome. So, yeah, we're just thankful for that.
100%. As we start to wrap up here, we talked about athletes already, but what's maybe a dream team or league that you would want to see VukGripz partnered with down the road?
Oh, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. I think, it would really be fun just to keep getting our name on ESPN, on like ESPN. We were in a couple top 10s. I mean, I think that was fun. As far as a dream athlete, I know Mike Trout has felt it before. He said it was pretty cool. He'd be a fun guy to work with. I think for us, I mean, anyone who wants to be able to trust their game with our products, I mean, that just means the whole world to me. The young kids at any level, even up to the major leagues, we'd be thankful for anyone. I think NHL is going to be our next step, and then I think pickleball is on after that. So that's where our next endeavors, and we hope to make some great connections and keep being able to support, players at all levels. I mean, that's kind of our goal now. Dream athlete would be maybe Derek Jeter, but my man's retired, so it is what it is.
Well, we got to get you with Aaron Judge then, because that's obviously the marquee. Hey,
I'll take it.
Well, yeah, no, you mentioned pickleball, and that is becoming. I'm surprised how fast it's exploded. Like, pickleball is out of nowhere. I mean, it's been around, but now you have all of these, pickleball bars and clubs, and it's becoming, I feel, more popular than golf and more affordable.
Yeah, agree. I mean, well, anyone can play. So almost everyone who plays is a customer, which is not, you don't see that everywhere else. I mean, lacrosse might be the next sport like that, where everyone who plays lacrosse has a stick. Even the parents have a stick. So it's everyone plays at any age. It's fun. It's competitive. It's a good workout, and you can play it professional. You can play it just for fun. So we'll see, man. I mean, hey, I see Jamie Foxx balling out on pickleball. I need to get Jamie Foxx some grips. So if anyone knows him, tell him to hit me up.
That'd be a good one. Yeah. You think he's any good? I'm sure he's got the body type where he's probably pretty quick.
I mean, he's in some pretty big action movies, and he always looks jacked, so he looks athletic. I mean, I'd say he's pretty good. I think the one sleeper we had, my favorite one of all time, is we had Matthew McConaughey try it out in a celebrity softball event. I'm like, oh, that Matthew's my guy. So that was a check mark off the dream list too. So yeah,
not bad. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole different market too. Yeah, I'm thinking more of the pro side, but yeah, the celebrity outings. I mean, that's the big names right there.
You start checking off people you watched in movies and stuff as a kid. That's got to be pretty cool.
I mean, it's just who would ever think, man, right? Again, just we're extremely blessed. Everything up to the big man up above. But I mean, it's been fun, man. We can appreciate with Wouldn't Be without anyone who hasn't supported us, because they've been spreading the word. I mean, I don't know Matthew McConaughey, but someone else did, and they gave him my grip, so that was awesome.
That's so awesome to hear.
Yeah.
So as we close out, as a former athlete and obviously a sports fan, you had an idea for a business venture. What advice would you give to somebody that was in similar shoes that you were once present in?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'd say the biggest thing is it's going to be super scary, and you're going to think you're not going to do it, and you're going to fail. I mean, everything on TikTok and all the, interviews you see with some big celebs, it all sounds cliche. I mean, they're all right because they've actually all been through it. So, if you're willing to give it 100%, you can't give it 110 because there's only 100%. That's all we can do. If you can give it your all every day and try and get better a little bit than you were the day before, I mean, dude, anything can happen. I mean, surround yourself with people who know what your weaknesses are, that can make those weaknesses positives, and then you keep focused on what you can do. So, again, I've always asked for help. Never be afraid to ask for help. I mean, whether it's money, you need a favor, just do it and be honest and be moral. And I think, if everything works out, best advice I can give.
Yeah, it's good advice. RJ, thanks so much for taking the time with us, man. Where can people find you and VukGripz as well? If they're hooked, they want in on the VukGripz story, they want to go buy some, or they want to keep up with what you guys are doing, some events you might be at, where can they go?
Yeah, man, VukGripz.com. Just hit us up. That's our website. VukGripz on all the social media channels. You'll see my awesome shining face in all the test videos, so you'll know it's the right spot. So, again, we appreciate everyone who does check us out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, RJ. We appreciate the time. Good luck with the upcoming year, and we can't wait to see you on the TV. Now our eyes are going to be peeled. We're going to be looking to see all of our players we're using VukGripz.
I love it, man. Hey, hook me up with Aaron Judge, all right?
Right back at you.
Appreciate you guys.